Taken from us much too soon. She was a proud mother and a good friend, always with a smile on her face. We know that she's in heaven right now because she was a Cubs fan and she served her time in hell here on Earth. Tonight we celebrate the birthday of a longtime friend of Top Fuel Racing's league owner and wish a very happy birthday to Kristina Behringer. Tonight we race in her honor. Live from Charlotte Motor Speedway, we present the Top Fuel Racing Kristina Behringer Memorial. Tony Trapasso up in the booth with my partner in crime, Mr. Frank Marchese, tonight, as we are currently waiting for a special guest here in the booth. But Frank, happy thoughts, as Kristina probably would have loved this, I dare say, as from what Scott's told me about her.
Yeah, you would absolutely hope so, and you were definitely right. She is definitely in heaven after spending hell as a Cubs fan. So yeah, this is a fitting tribute for her tonight, and I believe Scott is here with Tony now.
I don't think Scott's actually here yet. He did step away after the drivers' meeting. We're getting ready to start open qualifying tonight. 170 laps the scheduled distance, as we are going to be under the lights before this is all said and done. One fast repair on the line, no tire limit set, as a gaggle of cars starting to roll it right now for the open qualifying session. This is going to be fun to watch, Frank. It's not something we normally see here in the Top Fuel Racing Series.
Yeah, no, it's not, as these guys are starting to get out onto the track here to set these times, which we know are going to be coming quick and fast as we wait for Scott here. So it'll be a 10-minute qualifying session, as what is as per usual here in the Top Fuel Racing League. But again, what is not normal is the fact that it will be open qualifying, open set qualifying. And Tony, what would be, we know what it's like to run just 2 laps by yourself, but it's a completely different set of challenges when you go out there running with a pack.
Very much so. And you've got to be mindful of the draft. Even though this is one of the smaller tracks we're going to visit this year at 1.5 miles, you do get an amazing tow down the back straightaways. There's a gaggle of cars heading through 1 and 2 right now. I see Tim Bates in that mix, and I believe Jeff Hollingsworth's also in that group. The guys at the tail end of that little grouping, if they can catch the group right.
Somebody in the wall there.
There's a rail slide.
Might have been Bates, I think. Oh, no, it wasn't. Let's see who that was, actually.
Well, we just saw what I was talking about. Hollingsworth was at the tail end of that group coming out of 1 and went 23.937. That's our first sub 24-second run that we've seen here tonight so far. And
times start coming in. We've got the 11 drivers on the clock so far. You can see their best time is posted on the screen right now. Their most recent lap time is going to be sliding in and out. As you can see, Paul Crumry set to 24.325. That was his most recent lap, as we're following along with Timothy Bates, who is on the inside there in that yellow and blue NLR machine.
And it looks like Scott Brinson is out on track right now, so unable to, really get with us as far as, talking about this race and what it means. but and he has a hell of a run going right now. I had him blue in a couple of sections. That's going to put him 7th quick, as he still has a pull with a couple cars in front of him. So, this whole thing about group qualifying, it's a lot different than going out there solo, like you mentioned. And some guys thrive in this form of qualifying. Some guys thrive in group qualifying.
Yeah, without a doubt. And group qualifying on a road course provides a completely one set of challenges as we ride on board with Scott Brinson. You can just see how much the banking comes into play here in these cars. But group qualifying on a road course is one thing. Group qualifying on an oval, where the car is so aerodynamically dependent, is quite another thing.
Very much so. As as we see Brinson taking it pit side, you've got to be mindful of what type of draft you're able to get and who you're around, and hopefully you can get hooked up with someone that is A, willing to give you a pull, and B, not try to block you when you do get a slingshot attempt.
And not to mention the aero push that these cars get. If you mentioned that, I do apologize. I'm trying to focus on 5 different things here. But you're looking now. But you're looking right now at Chris Simard. Now, Simard, last week at Pocono in the money race, this was his first race back with Top Fuel for about 2 seasons. And he came home, I believe, with a top 5, if I remember correctly. And now, I believe he was the fastest car in practice and running P4 right now in this open qualifying.
Simard is definitely no slouch when it comes to open qualifying. This is actually where he thrives for qualifying. Not known as a solo qualifier, but you get him in a mix like this, and Katie bar the door, because Chris Simard's coming through.
And put on a very, very good showing last week at a completely different style circuit. Here's another guy who we're going to be looking at. That is the number 10 of Nate Siefker, only 6th right now with a 24.184. Coming to the start line here to complete yet another lap, I believe. Will maintain his 6th position. Siefker has already done 10 laps, and he's going to bring it in as we get just a little bit past halfway in this session with Jeff Hollingsworth still up at the top. Really quick before we continue on here too much further, let's take a look at our race information for the race here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Kristina Behringer Memorial at Charlotte here this evening. Oval race just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina in Concord. Last time we were here, it was only 4 months ago, almost 4 months ago to the day. Nate Siefker narrowly edging out teammate Chris Walker by 0.076 seconds for the race win. Carl Burke coming home in 3rd. Timothy Bates and Jeff Wubker both finishing out the top 5 positions. The last time we were here on the 13th of May, Sam Cooper Bennett was in the booth.
Yes, he was.
Race.
And I just received word from the league owner. Helps if I check my phone more often than I do.
Yeah,
$65 race purse tonight.
There you go.
Thank you, Scott Brinson and Ernie Ludwig, for putting that up out of your own pockets. $20 to the winner, $13 for second, $10 for third, $7 for fourth, $5 for fifth. The biggest mover of the night, and you have to have posted a qualifying time to be able to be eligible for this, will receive $5. And whoever leads on the 79th lap, the year that Kristina was born, just 6 laps short of halfway, that driver, whoever's leading at that point, will receive $5.
Well, there you go. So a little bit of added bonus here for trying to take the race win here is Timothy Bates. We see him currently sitting in the second position. There's his best qualifying time as compared to his last. And this is one of those things that open qualifying allows, Tony. That right there, as he crossed the line, that was Timothy Bates' 16th lap run in this qualifying session. You could just as easily use this as an extended practice session.
Very much so. Very, very much so. And I just received word that the purse has been extended to $85 total.
Well, there you go.
Because the boss man, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett, has just thrown $20 into the kitty. Compliments of ESPN.
There you go. So 85, you said?
$85 up total, up for grabs. Lion's share going to, of course, the winner. And they are paying out biggest mover, and they will be paying out whoever's leading on the 79th lap, which was the year Kristina was born.
You know what? I think I just got some breaking news. I think an anonymous tip has come in, said they're going to donate an extra $15 to round it up to $100 tonight.
You heard it here, folks. First, folks. $100 total purse tonight.
So there you go. As a little bit of a wreck there. I believe that was Mark Walker in the back. We're sitting now. This is Luis Nunez. We did not see Nunez last week at Pocono. So making a return here today, Nate Siefker coming through turn 4.
And qualifying's over.
Yes, it is. Just ending. So there are your times.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey,
and
Scott,
joining
how are
us
you?
now is the chief cook and bottle washer of the Top Fuel Racing Series, Mr. Scotty Brinson.
What's going on, guys? Just want to pop up here for a minute and just say a few words about my friend. Met her a long time ago through my high school sweetheart back in the day, Miss Kristen Pinson. And one day, Miss Kristina just popped up in our lives as Kristina's mom met Kristen's dad. And they wound up getting married and made a life together. And that's how I wound up meeting Kristina. And as we became older, we became really close. And I was really sad to hear last year that out of nowhere, I didn't even know she was in the hospital and wound up dying while she was in the hospital at 38 years old and was taken far too soon. So I know it took me a little while, but I just wanted to wait for a little while and wait till the time was right. And I definitely wanted to put on a race in her memory tonight. And I'm glad to be here to be doing this tonight. So this one's for Chris tonight. And I hope her kids and any of her family and friends that are tuning in tonight can take a little bit tonight, a couple hours to remember a great person and share with us tonight tribute race and Chris's memory.
Frank, why don't you break the breaking news to Scott before he goes down and grids up?
I had gotten a little snippet pushed to me on my desk here that an anonymous donor was going to donate an extra $15 to make it an even $100 purse tonight.
Very cool. Well, whoever that is, I appreciate them very much, and I thank them, and I thank all the other guys, Ernie and Sam at ESPN that sponsored this race. I hate to cut this short, guys, but I got to go grab a bottle of water real quick, and I got to grit up. But Chris, this one's for you tonight. I love you and I miss you. R.I.P., babe. Good luck, everybody, and thanks for calling the race, guys.
Well, thank you very much, Scott, and we don't blame you for needing to rush on out of here. I think you do have something to do right now, as that was Scott Brinson, the owner of the Top Fuel League, who will be qualifying in 12th, and we'll get the rest of that grid here for you now, as I believe I'm only going to be able to show the top 20, but hey, it's better than nothing. As we go to the grid, oh, that's not the same as I thought it was going to be. So Jeff Hollingsworth and Timothy Bates
User left your channel.
will start on the first row. Luis Nunez and Paul Crumry will start on row 2. Row 3 will be Chris Simard and Carl Burke. Nate Siefker and Ronnie Osmer will make up row 4. Dan Brazington, Mark Walker, Dan Brazington, that's the right way around, will be starting on row 5, Tony.
Jeff Webker and Scott Brinson are going to make up number 6, with row 7 going to Johnny Antonucci and Scott Dusko. John Bowling and Kevin O'Brien make up row number 8, with row 9 going to John Fry and Mark McFadden. Chris Walker and Colin Scott make up Chris Walker and Sam Cooper Bennett make up row number 10, with Colin Scott starting shotgun on the field. 21 drivers here tonight. 170 laps, the scheduled distance, as the field works its way into the 3-4 complex behind the Ford Mustang GT pace car, the official pace car of iRacing. Pretty much the only thing that's left to do is pull those belts tight one more time, adjust the visor, take a tear off if you got it, as the pace car gets ready to haul on off. Grandpa, you need to pop a Viagra because it's time to get it on in the Queen City.
Pace car ducks off, and we are racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway as Jeff Hollingsworth takes a nice little jump right off the get-go, and that will slot Timothy Bates in solidly in the second position. And Luis Gonzalez Nunez now trying to fight for that second position there, Tony.
Yeah, and you got to think that Hollingsworth's got to be a sitting duck with the type of jump that he got. This is almost like the way these cars run here. It's very similar to the way the Cup cars run at a place like Daytona or Talladega. Whereas if you get out to too much of a lead, you're a sitting duck because the field is just going to freight train you as they slingshot past you. As we've seen Bates already get past Hollingsworth. And I believe Nunez is working his inside this time as they come into the quad hole for the completion of lap number 2.
That was a great shot there. You brought up the kinship to Daytona and Talladega and the Cup cars. The first 4 rows of guys lined up 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, and they're still 2 by 2 as Jeff Hollingsworth goes to the inside for the lead over Timothy Bates, and Luis Nunez is still trying to find his way through there. He's the pink and black car on the inside.
The key to tonight is going to be patience. Yes, you can get a hell of a tow and a hell of a run on somebody. The problem is, are you going to have a hole to go through once you get there?
That is certainly the balancing act and the patience that you're going to need to show. As there's Chris Simard, that Pennzoil car on the outside lane. Starting in the 5th position, he's worked his way up to 4th, now pulling Ronnie Osmer through with him. And I think Osmer may have just caught the wall there in the number 55, is able to keep it going straight. And we will stay green.
And it's good to see Chris Simard back in the nuclear banana, even if it does have some chrome on it tonight. As Paul Crumry making his way up, got shuffled back there on the initial start, now currently sitting back where he started in 4th. Luis Gonzalez Nunez has dropped a couple of spots, and Ronnie Osmer's been climbing steadily as he currently sits in 6th.
Osmer now 5 positions up from where he started, but also, up 4 positions now from where he started. But we mentioned just a second ago, Chris Simard, he was in the 5th position a second ago. He's fighting for the lead right now on Jeff Hollingsworth here on lap number 8.
Yes, he is, and those guys have raced together long enough to kind of know what the other one's thinking, as Simard throws it to the inside, right down on that blue stripe, as they come out of turn number 2 and drag race down the back straightaway side by side into turn number 3, Frank.
Yeah, we're seeing these guys on the inside line have a little tiny bit of an advantage going into these corners, of course, with it being the shortest way around the circuit, is now Ronnie Osmer looking on Timothy Bates for the 3rd position. Osmer, the biggest mover so far, up 5 positions. Chris Walker is up 5 positions as well, starting in the 19th position. He's now up 6 as he moves into 13th. Hollingsworth just able to keep it going, but Samard got a heck of a run, and he might have him cleared, Tony, going into 1. He does.
He does, and we've got a car in the grass. Not sure who that was.
That's Nunez, I think.
That's a good possibility. We'll find out at the end of this lap. Yes, it is. That's exactly who that was. But getting back to what you're talking about with the guys on the inside line having the advantage, yes, on fresh tires and a full boat of fuel, you're going to have a huge advantage. Once the fuel burns off and the tires, you've worn all the goodie off them, that second lane is going to pay dividends.
As we ride on board now with Ronnie Osmer running that middle to high lane, and notice sitting in 5th gear, these cars do have 6 gears. They had to back out of it through the kink there. But these cars do have 6 gears. 5th gear revs out a little higher. 6th is really a fuel and energy saving gear as he goes down to the inside of Chris Samard, trying to get that lead as they have left Bates and Hollingsworth for chips this lap.
I want to say as to the wall with how far he's how quickly he's dropping off the pace right now that he should, as he's fallen back into the clutches of Bates. And we're getting ready to end lap 13 as Samard and Osmer bring it across the stripe.
And remember, Samard and Osmer racing side by side for the lead here once again. Now, we did go caution-free at Atlanta, and this track is very similar to Atlanta in shape. However, in width, it is not. These turns are the track itself is a lot more narrow. The turns are a lot tighter and sharper, so these weight jackers and the front end, the ABS for these drivers that they can make changes during the race, Tony, those are going to be key as the run goes on here.
Yeah, all race long, you're going to be seeing guys making changes to their rides, and they're going to need to, because if you don't, you're going to get left. And I don't mean left turn. You're not going to be able to hang with the guys that are able to make those adjustments, especially on the fly. And you got to be able to predict what the car is about to do as the fuel burns off, as the tires wear off, and then you've got to remember to put the stuff back when you do get another full boat of fuel and fresh tires. And we're under caution.
Yep, caution is out. This is going to be for, it looks like Scott Brinson and Paul Crumry have had a coming together. There is Crumry with what looks to be the rear wing is there. The front wing is not. And Brinson, has decided to call a tow, as we're going to get a look here at what happened.
That started with Brinson pushing it too hard coming off of 4, ate the safer barrier, and just unfortunately Crumry nowhere to go.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And somebody else caught a little piece of that, but you're right, that's just a case of Brinson jumping up just a little too much, getting on the gas just a little too early.
Looks like that was Dan Brazington who caught a nose cone to the side pod and then brushed the safer barrier himself.
So drivers will be coming in here to pit as Chris Samard will lead them down. I think all but one decided to come in there as these cars make their way down this acceptably long pit lane.
It was Mark McFadden and Jeff Wubker staying out.
Wubker, somebody drove through. Ronnie Osmer is going to win the race off of pit road. Half a second quicker in that pit stop was Ronnie Osmer.
I dare say that has to do with the fact that Osmer was able to use sixth gear a little more than Chris Simard was, because Simard was battling with both Hollingsworth and Osmer. Fifth gear became his best friend for most of that run there. So burned off a little more fuel than Osmer did, and consequently, Osmer was able to get out in front of Hollingsworth and Simard.
Yeah, and that's going back to what I had mentioned, that fifth gear running higher is being more of a speed gear, sixth gear a little bit lower, used more in fuel save mode, as Mark McFadden will now lead Kevin O'Brien down pit road. Now, O'Brien came in with the leaders. However, he did not stop in his box. So O'Brien did a drive-through. And beyond that, everybody else has come in. And now, with those two coming in, officially everyone has come in.
And that's something that O'Brien does quite a bit, is he'll go down pit road, not stop in his box, but stop at the end of pit road and let the field pass, so that he can go to the end of the field, and if things go horribly wrong, he's got a better chance of avoiding a dumpster fire if he can see it coming rather than catch it from behind.
Yeah, I remember seeing him do that a couple of times at Gateway, and I believe he did it once at Pocono last week. So we are under caution for the first time here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Top Fuel IndyCar Series. Scott Brinson and Paul Crumry getting involved in an accident. Now, we did have one did not start here tonight. That's the number 20 of Colin Scott. He did not take grid and has yet to show up on track. So Colin Scott not taking part in tonight's race.
That team has actually got the hauler loaded up, and yep, they're backing out of their spot right now and heading towards the tunnel.
As the cars start to double up here, three more cars in the pits right now. Kevin O'Brien, Mark McFadden, and Sam Cooper Bennett are in the pit lane as well. Scott Brinson right now the only car not on the lead lap after towing after that very hard crash on, I believe it was lap 17 going to lap 18. So to reset the field here, it's going to be Ronnie Osmer and Jeff Hollingsworth, followed by Chris Simard. Nate Siefker has moved up after the pit stop, and Mark Walker up into a top 5 position with Dan Brazington to his outside. As we get set to get you back to racing here.
Field working its way through into the 3-4 complex behind the Ford Mustang GT 500 pace car, the official pace car of iRacing. Osmer going to have the button. As soon as the pace car clears the racing surface, Osmer can go anytime between there and the green flag coming out. Let's see what type of jump he's going to get, because you're always tempted, especially if you've got the button, to really just jump on it. But you're a sitting duck, as we saw with Jeff Hollingsworth being overtaken by Chris Simard. And, yep, youth and exuberance. Hollingsworth just completely blocks off Chris Simard going into one.
Yeah, Hollingsworth had a decent-ish getaway, but it is Nate Siefker now on the outside lane. And you would have to think that's Hollingsworth covering off who he thinks is the biggest threat, as Simard made a right charge up through the field on the first run up to the lead. As now here comes Hollingsworth, and as you mentioned, Tony, he is going to get rolled right on by.
And that's Hollingsworth's a smart enough racer to realize he had to kill Seifker's momentum to give himself a shot at Osmer. The only problem is Osmer hanging tough right now on that inside line. Hollingsworth may have almost contact coming through the quad oval.
Yeah, that one was close there between both Osmer and Hollingsworth, as you see them flash right past your screen, going through turns 1 and 2, and those two are getting close side by side as they head into turn number 3 for the race lead. And we have seen this all night so far, and I think we're going to keep seeing it, as here comes Simard on Nate Seifker for 3rd position, and he has it going into 1.
And this is what we were talking about with the whole patience thing. You've got to show patience. You've got to know when you can make the move and when just ride. And these guys, everybody wants to get that bonus point for leading, and they're timing their runs right now. So everybody's kind of feeling everybody else out and timing their runs to know, okay, I've got to start my run here. This is where I put it in 5th gear, put my foot through the floorboard and let it eat. And Osmer gave up the bottom.
And that's the big problem for him, as we were looking back at Chris Walker, who has moved up 11 positions. And Osmer, there they go! Hollingsworth able to keep it straight. Osmer able to keep it straight. Osmer's only going to lose about 3 or 4 positions, but Hollingsworth is without a doubt the loser in that exchange, and the caution does fly. Boy, oh boy, we had turned back to the lead just at the right time, didn't we? As it just looked like a coming together, coming off of turn 4, and we'll get to it right now. Between Osmer and Hollingsworth, I believe this, yep, here we are. Osmer's just going to come, that just looked like a case of both of those drivers not leaving each other enough room. We'll go back to it, and we'll try to get on board with Osmer, and you can see they're just a little off. Take a look at this one more time here. At least we'll try. Oh, that's from Simard's point of view.
And that goes back to what we were talking about Monday night at Martinsville. The 2 cars cannot occupy, or 2 solid objects cannot occupy the same place in the space-time continuum at the exact moment in time.
Cars leaving pit road one more time. A couple of guys making changes. Mark Walker, Kevin O'Brien deciding to stay out. Under this caution flag period. And I believe for Mark Walker, that might be a conscious decision, but for Kevin O'Brien, could also have been a conscious decision to come in on this lap, as we saw under the last caution zone.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to figure out what happened with Paul Kremer. I just said he got center punched in the fuel tank. And the car will not refuel.
That's not ideal, as there is Paul Krumrye. Looking back, this is the left rear. This is where the fuel would be going in. He's going to lose a lap here, is Paul Krumrye. Yeah,
apparently the car won't take fuel.
I think that's Kevin O'Brien, who is now pulled up into the pits next to him.
Yeah, you can see a lot of damage on the right side dual pod.
So interesting scenes happening here at Charlotte. As we are on board of Paul Crumry. There was Kevin O'Brien just surveying the situation. And now Crumry, as you can see as we go back to... Oh, there's Crumry again. Crumry still in neutral.
Yeah, that car is just not taking fuel.
And it is quite a conundrum, I would have to say. As the lights still on here on the safety car as we round turn 4. This will end the 30th lap of the race. Mark Walker in the lead, deciding to stay out. Everyone in the field behind him on fresher tires, but only by about 3 or 4 laps. As the lights do now go out on the safety car. And we will get ready to go green here. Hey, there's our safety car graphic. Haven't had that in the last couple of races.
Yay and stuff. As field working its way down the back straightaway here at Charlotte. Mark Walker going to have the button this time. The big question, Frank, is has he learned anything from the previous 2 starts that we've seen? The initial and, of course, then the restart.
You say, as a racer, you say you do, and then you go and do the exact opposite of what you thought you learned anyway. So it would not surprise me one bit if Walker just guns it here on this restart, because I would do the exact same thing. And again, that's not a knock on Mark. That's what I would do in the same spot. I know don't go, but I end up going anyway.
Well, from the looks of it, he's getting ready to just gag the throttle, and there he goes.
Yep, there it is. And Nate Siefker actually helps Walker out a little bit by going in behind and taking that inside gap, meaning that gap that Siefker, that run that Siefker can get on Walker isn't going to be nearly as long as what it could be, and he's going to go right to the inside here going into 3.
And yeah, here comes Osmer too. And yeah, Osmer wasting no time going to the inside of Walker, as we only had a handful of laps under Anger, but still, fresher tires mean a ton, as Paul Crumry has loaded it onto the hauler.
So an unfortunate issue for Paul Crumry has ended his race, and you can see, well, they put 10 laps on those tires. Only about 5 or 6 of them were in Anger. But Mark Walker, you can see, on that same set of tires, there's somebody slow up on that outside lane there. I believe that's Johnny Antonucci. Oh, boy, oh, boy.
Brasington.
Boy, that's gotten really close. This is Johnny Antonucci. We have centered on the screen right now in the black and white. That looks like Verizon car, and that got really close in the middle of the field. It's Antonucci getting past John Fries. That being for the 12th position. Didn't mention Antonucci much last week. He has Mark McFadden in that powder blue and black. Dallara right behind him.
Antonucci's actually running an old Newman Haas paint scheme a la Nigel Mansell.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Quite like that.
Osmer! Oh.
Yep, there he is. There's Osmer going through the infield grass. And we'll try to back this up here.
Annihilated somebody.
Yeah,
Chris Samard.
we'll run this back and see what happens.
I got.
That's Osmer going through the grass there. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're going to back this up a little bit further here. Here's, oh my goodness. Osmer came flying off the wall and just drilled Chris Samard. Hits that safer barrier and plows him. See if we can get on board with Samard here for this. I'm sorry, this is Osmer. And just pow. Try to get the right one here. Now here is Samard, and just nothing you could do. In that spot. Clearly caution is out. Otherwise we would not have shown as many replays as we did right there. So you're riding on board this Ronnie Osmer, and you could see in that onboard camera, Tony, he is ever so slightly right hand down on that car.
I'm sorry, I was dealing
Oh,
with
it's
rate control
fine.
issues there, as all hell is breaking loose on track right now, and I'm trying to figure out who I need to throw books at.
You know, and for those of you who may not be aware, right hand down just means he gets the toe knocked out of the car. So he's going to have to turn that wheel ever so slightly to the right in order to make it go straight. Jeff Wubker and Kevin O'Brien deciding not to pit there. Dan Brazington is the car in the back. That dark, that midnight blue and black machine. The third car in line, who is a lap down. So it's just Brazington and Crumry, who are no longer on the lead lap. And thanks to that last caution, Scott Brinson is back on the lead lap as well, currently running in the 16th position. O'Brien will come into the pits once again. As we take a look above the Charlotte Motor Speedway, formerly the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Home of the World or Coke 600. Just see down at the base of the screen there that the turn in and turn out for the Roval circuit. You can see some of that Roval circuit in the infield. And while these guys are under caution, if you're watching on YouTube, this would be a perfect time now to take a look down in the description of this stream. You can find the link to our Facebook page where we are also streaming this race. Hello to everybody on Facebook and YouTube as well. You can find the link to our Twitter page down there, and you can also find the link to our Teesprings page down in the description below, where you can get your ESPN or league-specific branded shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, long-sleeve shirts, hats, masks, coffee mugs, just a complete...
Throw pillows now.
Throw pillows. Just a complete mess of stuff that you could find either just ESPN, pardon me. There goes the monetization for this stream. And league specific stuff. So if you want a Top Fuel presented by ESPN throw pillow, I'm sure it's on there. Or maybe a Top Fuel mask, that is on there as well. And if you look a little bit below the link, there is a promo code ESBN20. You use that promo code and you get free shipping inside the continental United States. with that promo code. As the safety car is in this lap here, working on lap 41 of 170 on our third caution of the evening. Jeff Wubker leading Nate Siefker, Jeff Hollingsworth, Mark Walker, Chris Walker, and Carl Burke in the 09. So 4 of the top 6 right now were all top 5 finishers here last time we were here back in May. That would have been a part of season 10.
Yes, it was. So Woob's gonna have the button this time, as he's electing to take the inside. Pace car is in and got his teammate right next to him as we are back underway, and the 3 teammates get a great start, nose to tail, as they haul it off into turn number 1, and Mark Walker has Chris Walker all over his rear wing.
Yep. NLR occupying 4 of the top 5 positions, as there goes Nate Siefker for the race lead over Jeff Wubker. Again, Wubker on older tires, and now Jeff Hollingsworth looking to take that position away. And Chris Walker, that powder blue and orange, Delara, trying to get to the outside of Mark Walker.
Well, these guys are playing duck and peek right now for the number 4 spot. Siefker starting to stretch his legs as Hollingsworth and Wubker running side by side still.
There's Hollingsworth on the inside, Jeff Wubker on the outside. Mark Walker managing to catch that caution, get onto the same pit strategy as all of these guys around him, and has managed to really benefit from it, as Chris Walker sits behind him, up 14 spots from the start of this race is Chris Walker. On the outside, he has Ronnie Osmer, who took his fast repair, I believe, after that last incident, is sitting behind him, and we have a battle for the lead here between Jeff Hollingsworth and Nate Siefker.
Hollingsworth on the inside, Siefker on the height side, is give the last lap to Hollingsworth at the stripe by 19 one-thousandths of a second.
Just outside, just a little bit further back, there's Jeff Wubker and Mark Walker. Wubker up by the wall is going to lose that position. He's going to try to come down in front of Ronnie Osmer, and does with success. There is the 09 of Carl Burke. He's fending off as the caution comes out, and I believe John Bowling flipping through the infield. What on earth could have happened to cause that? Let's see if we can find out.
He caught an edge on the safer barrier.
Well, we're about to see it here as John Bowling on the inside lane did kind of what, oh wow.
Yeah.
Almost, kind of like how you would do a stoppie on a motorcycle.
Okay. You're a little more crazy on a motorcycle than I ever was.
I have not been on a motorcycle as you take that nausea-inducing ride on board with John Bowling there.
Yes, we call this the vomit cam, folks.
Yeah, that's unfortunately the ride you take sometimes, and you could just see once we finally had gotten on board with that, you could just see how the car, it sucks you in. Once you hit that wall, it's going to take it right back in, and you're not going to have a good time, just as Bowling found out right there.
Well, I dare say that what he just went through is very fitting considering the sponsor he's got on the car.
I didn't happen to catch it, if you would be so kind to enlighten us.
Bang energy drinks.
There it is.
Too soon? Too soon?
Well, I think it would have been too soon if he didn't have a fast repair in hand, which he did. So he'll be able to get that stricken automobile back out. As we see a couple of guys deciding to stay out here, John Fry's staying out, and wouldn't you know it, Kevin O'Brien stayed out on this stop as well.
I can't fault O'Brien's strategy at this point in time because with all the stuff that's going on, it's better to try to weave your way because you can see it coming than get run the heck over from behind. So really can't fault what's working for O'Brien.
And behind him is Chris Simard in the number 27 Pennzoil Dallara. He is one lap down, currently running in the 19th position. As here he comes into pit road with, wouldn't you know it, Kevin O'Brien. As John Fries decides to stay out, and he's going to try the whole, let's see how well we could start on older tires gimmick here. As you can see, the stints for the top 5. Fries on only his 4th set of tires, everyone else on their 5th. And this is what iRacing is with an unlimited tire set. Is what it used to be, at least. And now that they've added that you can put a tire limit in, it certainly does make the racing a little bit more interesting. But Tony, this is how iRacing used to be. Caution comes out, right into the pits.
Yeah, and it's not something that you normally see in the IndyCar series or the Formula One series. Formula One, yeah, you do see tire limits now, but as far as the real world IndyCar series, I don't believe they have tire limits. So no tire limits here in the Top Fuel Racing series either.
Going back through the field, sitting in the top 10 right now is a man that I do not recognize. Now, Tony, you've been working with the Top Fuel Series a lot longer than I have. There is the number 30 of Scott Dusko sitting in the 10th position. I do not remember seeing him this season, currently running in the top 10 here in I believe, his first race of the year.
I think Scott ran with us a couple seasons back. I've been gone for a couple seasons myself, so I'm not 100% certain about that. But so far, holding his own. Hasn't done anything. What's the phrase I'm looking for?
Has gotten himself noticed.
Yeah, there you go. That's the polite way to put it. Hasn't gotten himself noticed, and it's probably the best thing you can do, especially if if you're new to a league or if you're coming back to a league. The best thing is, dude, didn't even realize you were out on track. Good to have you back. That's the type of response you want when you come back.
And that is certainly the type of response you want from the other drivers, not necessarily the broadcast team who's trying to pay attention to every car on track. Oh, hey, here's a new name. About 50 laps into the race. We're about to go green here, about to start lap 52 when we take the green. We have 120 laps to go as we sit, just finishing up our 4th caution of the evening. As John Fries, for the first time, will lead these guys down for the restart. Fries punches it immediately. Siefker tries to duck in, but unfortunately for him, Jeff Hollingsworth had that gap covered as they go side by side for a second going into turn 1.
Yeah, Hollingsworth able to get a really good restart there. And the two of them now have a head of steam as they reel in John Fry's hand over fist and haul it off into turn number 3.
Yep, there's Mark Walker on the inside as well from That's Ronnie Osmer on the outside of him now, as there goes Jeff Hollingsworth to the inside. Nate Siefker following through, and unfortunately now you can see the difference in those tires and the speed of John Fries as Osmer, Walker, all getting hung up behind him and just about crashing as Fries gets off the wall.
Yeah, that's a scary moment, especially when you're around somebody that you know is on older tires, and you know that they've already worn all the goodie off of them because we've had so many laps under anger. That's definitely a scary thing to be around as a driver. But everybody handling it well so far.
Yep, John Fries getting passed now by Chris Simard and Mark McFadden. Now has Dan Brazington going around him. And here's a name we have not spoken all night long. That is Sam Cooper Bennett, currently sitting in the 16th position. That is him going for position, going for 15th on John Fries, and Sam completes the pass. Did not put a qualifying time in, started in 20th. Sam's been kind of hanging in the back as well here, Tony.
Sam was telling me earlier he was not happy with the way that the car was driving for him, and he wasn't happy with his adjustments as they were starting to come in. Just could not get the feel the way he wanted it. And I know that's weird to say in a fixed setup league, but with iRacing giving these guys the opportunity to adjust the anti-roll bar and the weight jackers in the fixed setup leagues now, you can tell the guys that are able to get the car to their liking and the guys that aren't. And at least during the practice session, Sam was not happy.
And no, I think he was certainly a little bit more entertaining when he was calling the race here. Again, the race to the finish, ending 7/100ths of a second a gap between Nate Siefker and Chris Walker. As Sam now trying to get a move on Dan Brazington. That is for the 13th position. As these cars go through that quad oval, and he has John Bowling, who just went flying right in front of him. He's going to have to back off, and unfortunately that's going to put him right into the clutches of Kevin O'Brien, who is now to his outside.
Yeah, O'Brien getting a pretty decent run right now as the teammates still run side by side. Again, that's your battle for 14th. Both of them in the same TeamSpeak channel, so they both know what's going on with each other. Meanwhile, back up in the front, Hollingsworth's starting to stretch his legs a little bit as he's got about a 4-car length lead over Nate Siefker.
Yeah, we've been somewhat keeping an eye on that with the interval on the screen. Hollingsworth has gotten, I think, the biggest single car lead that we have seen here through the first 60 laps, working on lap 61. Behind them, Ronnie Osmer and Mark Walker battling for third, and Osmer now takes the position as Walker goes to the inside to cover off Carl Burke, who started in the 6th position, and I believe Walker just hit the wall. And he is stopped, and the caution is out. So Mark Walker comes grinding to a halt. We will get you this replay here from on board Walker's machine. Hits the wall out of 4. Yeah, he broke the steering on that car. And you saw how he tried to turn the wheel here. We'll watch it one more time from in-car. You're going to see Walker here. He's going to hit the wall, try to make the dog leg, turn it, and it just goes straight on. That is a broken right front suspension on the 00, and unfortunately for him, there's his fast repair gone, and there's him towing as well.
Yeah, that's a break for Mark in the 00. But heads up driving from everyone around him to not get caught up in that mess. But little screaming going on right now between Mark McFadden and Luis Gonzalez Nunez as they were banging wheels coming down the front straightaway, or sorry, the back straightaway, and neither one happy with the other one right now. So something probably to keep an eye on a little bit later.
Yeah, we will definitely be watching for that as they're running currently 15th and 16th are Nunez and McFadden as the drivers now enter the pit lane. Get the race off of pit road here for you as Hollingsworth, the leader, coming in. Osmer and Siefker are down. Hollingsworth wins the race off pit road. An 8-second pit stop, by far and away the shortest one of anyone we've seen so far come across the timing pylon.
Yeah, he hit his marks perfect going into that pit stall, and the algorithm that is the iRacing pit crew was able to get him down and away very quickly.
Sam Cooper Bennett, as we just mentioned, spending 26.5 seconds in the lane. Now that might be him trying to stay at the back of the field. That's way too short for a penalty to be served. Because you'd have to think, I believe, now Tony, refresh my memory, I think they added time to a pit road speeding penalty.
Speeding in is now a 45-second install hold.
Yeah, so he certainly did not speed in. Maybe he missed the box on his way in. So we are serving caution number 5 here this evening after Mark Walker hits the wall coming out of turn 4 and then breaks his right front suspension and parks it on the outside of the quad oval. Just to run through the order as we sit here, Jeff Hollingsworth currently leading, Nate Siefker in second, Ronnie Osmer in third, Carl Burke in fourth, Jeff Wubker in fifth, and then welcome back up to the top, Scott Brinson, currently sitting in sixth. Now, it wasn't but 40 laps ago he was a lap down. He has now gotten back onto the lead lap and is up fighting for a top 5 position. Timothy Bates currently running in the 7th position. Scott Dusko in 8th. Chris Walker 9th. Dan Brazington 10th. Johnny Antonucci, who we had mentioned before, running in 11th. Luis Gonzalez Nunez in 12th. Kevin O'Brien 13th. Mark McFadden 14th. John Fries 15th. And Sam Cooper Bennett, the last car on the lead lap, running in the 16th position. 4 cars not on the lead lap. It's going to be Chris Samard, John Bowling, Mark Walker. I'm sorry, 3 cars not on the lead lap. That'll be Samard, Bowling, and Walker. Crumry DNFing after his car would not take on fuel during an earlier pit stop, and Colin Scott did not start the race as we get set, Tony, to go back to green flag racing yet again.
User joined your channel.
Yeah, as we get ready to go back to green, Hollingsworth going to have the button one more time, and he's got a standard phone next to him. It's Nate Siefker. So here we go. Lights are out on the Ford Mustang GT 500 pace car. And you got to wonder if Hollingsworth has learned anything yet.
I missed it. You missed it.
Missed what?
Typically, when you do the Ford Mustang safety car, you typically go into the official safety car of iRacing.
I didn't feel like it this time because I wanted to ask you a question.
It just threw me off. I'm sorry. What was your question?
So Hollingsworth has had a couple of times to restart. He's had a couple of chances to restart both with the button and without the button. You got to wonder if he's learned anything yet.
Again, would hope so.
You know, it's kind of like when you squirt a dog with a water pistol every time it does something you don't want it to do, or sooner or later it learns that when you reach for that water pistol, it stops doing what you don't want it to do.
Again, that's one of those situations where you would be hopeful. As the safety car pulls off onto pit road, there goes Jeff Hollingsworth, who clearly did not learn anything as Siefker ducks in behind. we're racing again here at Charlotte. And not only are we racing again here at Charlotte on lap 67, we are joined by our third man in the booth. Tyler Vickery has decided to join us. How's it going, Tyler?
I'm doing all right. Always fun when working in the production business. Had a call about a camera being struck by lightning, so had to go and fix it.
Were you holding the camera at the time?
Thankfully, no, but
Clearly
it was.
Not.
We can only hope for
It
next
took
time.
a few hours.
Well,
It took a few hours more than.
Clearly he wasn't holding it, and fortunately for that, he wasn't. As we go up to the race lead as Ronnie Osmer, Tyler, you're just coming in, but what you're seeing right now, Tyler, is pretty much what we have seen the entirety of this race. A lot of close action up front.
Boy, I was looking at the standings and I saw Crumry. I feel bad for Crumry. Must have had to have been a very big accident that happened with Crumry getting taken out. But these guys, I mean, pack race, and boy, is it getting exciting already.
Unfortunately for Crumry, his car would not refuel.
Ooh.
So that's why he decided to pull it
And
over.
Sam Cooper Bennett in the wall.
There. Yeah, and he's hard in the wall, too. And, Kevin O'Brien had to
I think we
swerve
need to get a
and
new
avoid
fire
him.
suit down to the 84 bit.
Yeah, he is. You can see the stance of that car, Tyler. That is not what you want to see. And you can see just by looking into the cockpit, he is hard over left just to get that car to go straight.
That's an understatement on crab walking. And there it
Now
goes.
spinning.
He's
Good save.
lucky. He's very lucky that he didn't have happen to him what happened to. I
Surprised the
believe it was
caution
John
hasn't
Boland
come out
earlier.
here for this.
I was told not to throw it. Single car, and he's off the racing line.
Well, there you go. As Sam tries to fight that car on into pit road, and does. As we go back up to the race for the lead, that is Ronnie Osmer up in front, followed by Jeff Hollingsworth. And now Hollingsworth trying to get under him. And look who has fought his way back up to the third position. It's Scott Brinson in the 14, Tony.
2 laps down at one point, now currently sitting in third as we are closing in on that magic lap that we were talking about earlier. 79th lap, whoever's leading, to celebrate Kristina Behringer's birth year. So it's turning into a 3-car battle for that prize money.
It certainly is, and that is a $100 prize to the winner here tonight.
No,
what?
It's this $100 total purse.
Oh, it's a $100 total purse. Oh, okay. That makes a little bit more sense. As we're on lap 75, and I believe, Tony, you said there was a lap time. There was a certain lap. It's who was leading a certain lap. I think that's coming up here.
79.
79. So we are almost there. Just wanted to make sure I didn't miss it. As Osmer and Hollingsworth starting to break away, there is Scott Brinson right in the middle of your screen in that black and red car. Currently sitting in third. Carl Burke in the 09. There he is in that bright blue car. As Nate Siefker, Tyler, starting to fall off of this group. He's been dominant here at the beginning stages of this race. Now starting to fall off.
Yeah, he probably was playing super aggressive, but with the way this race is going, I know how Nate is with money, but it's just he needs to back off a little bit and burned up his tires way too much.
As Burke looking to the inside on Brinson. Brinson taking that second lane. And that was something we talked about early in the race. That, yeah, the low line on fresh tires going to be where you want to be. But you can see as these guys are starting to burn off some fuel, they're running about a half car to a full car width off of that blue line now as we are starting lap 78. So popsicle sticks in the air for some money.
Yep, as you can keep that momentum wound up in that middle lane a little bit easier than you can on the bottom, and you can see all the guys running up at the front are kind of running that lane. Down in turn 3, though, it does appear that the inside lane is where you want to be as Brinson just about nicks that wall.
Well, if Hollingsworth's got anything for Osmer, he's got just over 3/4 of a mile to get it done to try to get some money in his pocket as we are working lap 79 with Osmer in command and Hollingsworth about 5 car lengths back.
And it will be Ronnie Osmer leading the 97th lap. So a little bit of prize money going to Ronnie Osmer with the completion of that lap. And we're seeing something that we have not seen a lot of this race, and that is these guys are starting to get strung out here, Tony.
With how they're getting strung out right now, it might be a good sign. These guys are really going to start playing field strategy here. Looks like Hollingsworth is already playing the field strategy game, staying behind Ronnie, not making any kind of big aggressive moves.
And would be a perfect time, Tyler, to jump into that 6th gear. Now you can save a lot of fuel riding behind somebody here, but you can also save a lot of fuel by running in that 6th gear. And just as we saw at the beginning of the race, we now have a 2-car breakaway up at the front as Scott Brinson and Carl Burke have fallen off of these two. Osmer and Hollingsworth. 2-car break up at the front. Then Brinson, Burke, and then Nate Siefker. Here's Nate Siefker. Going into turn number 1, has led a good little bit of this middle portion of the race. Starting to fall back. Timothy Bates trying to work his way up. We saw him start in the 2nd position. Finished 4th here back in May. Did Bates trying to fight his way back up, Tony?
Bates starting to make his way back towards the front. We a little bit of trouble earlier, but making it happen. Chris Walker doing the same as he has started 19th and then fell back a little bit. Now back up into the number 7 slot as Scott Dusko quietly hanging on in the top 10, something that we were talking about earlier.
Scott Dusko in that number 30, as you see right in the middle of your screen. He has Dan Brazington, Jeff Wubker, and Chris Simard. Now, Simard is 1 lap down behind him, but he still has that speed. Simard starting in the 5th position. He was a major threat at the beginning portion of this race, but an incident with Ronnie himself and Ronnie Osmer put him back as Dan Brazington now gets around Scott Dusko. That is for the 8th position, Tyler.
Yeah, and really unfortunate for Simard, but yeah, Dusko is running really strong here. I mean, started further in the back of the field in 14th and just having a really strong ride so far. No really big issues for Scott, so well done for him.
And maybe, Tyler, you can answer the question that we were wondering earlier. I don't recognize Scott's name, Scott Dusko, in the 30. You ran with this league for the couple of seasons that I was unable to be in the broadcast booth. What do you know about him?
I really, honestly, the name sounds familiar, but I don't think it's been a few years. I don't even think I was running with him beforehand. Because I believe he is a veteran of the league, but it was just from many years back. I think it was even before I started racing in the league, I believe.
That was what I was kind of thinking too. It was when we were still running the VW12 that Dusko last ran, so at least 5 seasons ago now.
Scott Dusko sitting behind. That is Chris Simard. Again, Simard not for position in that black and yellow Pennzoil car. The car he is fighting for position is on the outside line and is now directly in front of him. That is Dan Brazington, who also had a little part in the incident that put Simard backwards. As we look back up towards the front here, Tony, this front pair has gone up and left Scott Brinson. It is now a 1.7 second gap back to the 14, the 09, and the 10 as they have just up and left.
And that just shows the strength of those two cars and the strength of the drivers knowing what adjustments to make those cars happy for them. Osmer has done this long enough to know what adjustments he needs to make. Same thing with Hollingsworth. As Hollingsworth looking to the inside now as they work their way down the back straightaway.
Jeff Hollingsworth trying to pin Ronnie Osmer to the inside, and Hollingsworth has decided now is the time to go, leaving plenty of room. Going through the quad oval, that is Mark McFadden in front of him. And once again, thanks to SDK's lapping system being a little bit too sensitive, you can see there are the blue colored names are cars that are a lap down to the leader. Unfortunately, it is a little ambitious with its lap down counter, as Chris Simard running in the 15th position, while now Mark McFadden in 14th, as I say, is the true first car off of the lead lap. So P14, the first car off the lead lap, Fries and Antonucci are still on the lead lap.
I dare say it's probably going off of the what we generally refer to as the F3 black box for the in-car telemetry, where it tells you, okay, yeah, the car in front of you is a lap down to you, and that's probably what it's going off of.
As Hollingsworth takes the lead, and Tyler, we're seeing a little bit of a resurgence now. Nate Siefker, before we checked on that fight for the lead, was sitting in 5th behind Brinson and Burke. He's now flipped roles. He's up to the 3rd position. Brinson on the outside lane. Siefker starting to come alive here.
I think Siefker started to realize he needed to push it, especially knowing he's 2 seconds back as well. And I also to add in on the SDK, I've used it for many years already. And yeah, that's one thing with the live timing system is if some cars are closer to the leader, especially depending on the battle box, it will show them in blue saying they are about to be lapped until after they pass, and then it'll be a solid blue.
So again, there's Siefker getting past Mark McFadden, and Siefker is already put, as Carl Burke gets past Scott Brinson in the background, he has already put about a second, 3/4 of a second, between himself and the pairing of Burke and Brinson, as Brinson now falls back to 5th. Fortunately for Brinson, there is a 2-second gap back to Timothy Bates. There you see him. He is being caught by Chris Simard, who is not on the lead lap. And then it goes back to Chris Walker, who's sitting in 7th place right now, is 12 positions up from where he had started back in maths 19th.
Yeah, the only thing is Chris Walker is not going to be eligible for that biggest mover award because he did not post a time in qualifying.
And that's the bummer of not posting a qualifying time. And Tony, I cannot see you that far on my timing and scoring board. Who did not post a time? I know Sam Cooper Bennett did not.
Sam, Mark McFadden, and Chris Walker are the only ones that actually took the green that did not post times.
Okay, and Colin Scott did not post a time, and he did not start the race. So only 20 competitors here tonight in this race. As you see in the background there, that is Luis Gonzalez Nunez fighting back on Dan Brazington and getting the spot. As we saw a little bit of Nunez earlier, Tyler, he fell to the back, and now he's working his way up to the front as we have a caution. I believe it's Johnny Antonucci. There he is.
We're under caution.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, no.
That's not typically good when Tony says, oh, no, like that.
Yeah, go watch what happened to Jeff Hollingsworth.
And when you give it the British accent, it certainly is not good. As we will now go and see what happened to Hollingsworth. Or will we?
Yeah, I just saw it.
There we go. That's what happened to Hollingsworth.
Now that's a lot of damage.
And we've seen it a lot here tonight. Guys just run out of room. Coming out of turn 4, and unfortunately, Osmer had pushed, I think, a little bit more than what Hollingsworth was expecting. Hollingsworth fortunately able to keep that car rolling. He's not finding it easy to keep it going straight, I will say that.
Yeah, and with the damage of these cars, it's especially suspension damage and big change of cambers, it makes it really difficult to try to keep that car in a straight line.
Saw that race off of pit road there. Ronnie Osmer winning that race off of pit road. Everybody on the lead lap coming in there. So it was Osmer, Siefker, Brinson winning the race off of pit lane. So you see Sam Cooper Bennett right in front of him. I'm sure these guys will be coming in. Sam, there's Kevin O'Brien, there's Mark Walker, who was involved in an incident before. Chris Simard at the front of this group. All coming in as we serve our 6th caution of the evening right now on lap 103, about to come to lap 104, as it looks like, Tyler, O'Brien and Sam are going to elect to take the wave around here.
It's going to be the best opportunity for him, as O'Brien's going to end up being 1 lap down now, and Samard pitted. I believe he's taking a strategy on rather being on fresh tires compared to O'Brien, who's staying out. So Chris Samard will have the opportunity to get the lucky dog being on fresh tires as well later on.
And since you just jinxed the field, you can get your hate mail coming, folks. That's Tyler Vickery, E.F. Towers, Miami, Florida, P.O. Box OU812.
It's the commentator's curse, Tyler. You will learn it.
Oh, trust me. You can ask Tony. I've done it multiple times. Not the first. Won't be the last.
Tyler's put his foot in his mouth so many times with the different curses that he's invoked that we've had to give him a crowbar before to pry his foot out of his mouth because it's been shoved in there all the way to his knee.
Well, Tony, I'm sure that one curse that Tyler cannot put on ESPN or anyone associated with the league is the curse of someone who is wearing our apparel from our Teespring store. Now, can he?
Well, you know, Christmas is coming, folks, and what better gift to your favorite person than to give them a Top Fuel Racing as presented by ESPN t-shirt or tank top, hoodies, face mask. In today's climate, that would be the perfect gift. Hand somebody an ESPN face mask and say, "Here, I care about you for Christmas." Or whatever holiday you want to participate in.
Care about you just enough to get a face mask.
Hey, you care about their health. It's a caring gesture to give someone a face mask.
Yes, certainly, yes. In today's day and age, it certainly is. Maybe 5 years ago would be a little insulting, but in today's world, it most certainly is a very caring gesture. And also force them to wear it as well. That's another part of the gift.
Hi, welcome to New York. Put your fucking face mask on.
Pretty much. As the lights are out on the safety cars, we look high overhead. Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I think this is where we will take this restart from. And Tyler, this is your first restart back. Let's give it to you.
Absolutely, and as they're getting ready to send it off into turn one, pace car is off. Ronnie is waiting and firing off, and green flag is underway.
You can just see the gap, and you can see how quick those cars spread apart as we restart. 105 laps in the books. We have 65 laps to go here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. As you can see, look at Scott Brinson going for the race lead. He does have Nate Siefker right on him, but Tony, he is right there trying to get that lead.
Brinson got the restart that he needed, was able to get the clear on Siefker and make that lane change. So as already some chirping going on in the mid-pack as guys are already starting to beat and bang on each other, and we're not even within the last 50 laps of this thing.
And one of the big problems is going to be, look who's back in 12th position. That's Jeff Hollingsworth. He's been up at the front, and Tyler, he's not going to have the patience driving through these cars that he has not been racing to get his way back up to the front.
Oh, absolutely not. But what's going to hurt him, though, is he's going to tear up the tires so quickly, being super aggressive, trying to get back up to that front pack.
That's Desco there in the 30 that he is fighting. As we take a look at Jeff Hollingsworth running in the 9th position right now, getting past Desco. As Ronnie Osmer continues to lead up here at the front, with Scott Brinson behind him, Nate Siefker and Chris Walker, the two men who finished first and second here back in May, battling it out for the 3rd position here as Scott Brinson goes to the lead.
Brinson going for the lead is he gets a great run on Osmer, working the way out of the 3-4 complex into the quad oval. Brinson going to show the way, and he's got a pack of angry wolves behind him. And don't look now, but guess who just got caught up to the top 5?
Would that happen to be Timothy Bates?
No.
Oh,
That
right.
would be Hollingsworth.
Yep, there he is. My goodness, he is fighting for 4th position, and he hits the wall coming out of 4. Hits the wall coming out of 4. He's going to lose the 5th position to Chris Walker. And we've seen before, Tony, what can happen going back to Mark Walker's accident coming out of 4. You break that suspension, you're done. And with Hollingsworth having used a fast repair already, he's in serious trouble. He really has to watch out now.
He is in trouble. Just overcooked it a little bit coming off of 4. Not losing a ton of speed, though. I mean, he's not carving through
in your channel
like he was. Please tell me that wasn't Frank.
Nope, that was Tyler.
Okay. You know, he's not carving through the field like he was before as Siefker gets alongside of, yeah, he does. Osmer for second, really putting him under pressure now as Brinson continues to show the way.
Yeah, Brinson showing the way here, but the top 6 are hungry and they are close to each other. As Carl Burke in that blue car fighting side by side with Chris Walker. That is for the 4th position. Are we okay?
I think I just changed the flavor of my fire suit. As Brinson and Osmer going into turn 1, it looked like they banged wheels. That could have ended poorly.
Could have, and Osmer's going for the lead here coming out of 4. And he will take it, but him and Brinson, Tyler, putting on a nice little battle here coming down. We're 115 laps into this event.
It's a great battle right now, but boy, I mean, the close contact could have been a lot worse, but great battle overall.
Certainly has
and
been.
I think we're starting to see green flag stops.
I couldn't imagine. We've only been green for 10 laps.
Well,
I mean, that's early for green flag pit stops. That's Sam Cooper Bennett in the pits. This might be an unscheduled deal, as boy, oh boy, you saw it right at the right-hand side of your screen. Carl Burke putting on one heck of a block on Jeff Hollingsworth, trying to keep that number 97 behind him, Tyler.
Yeah, and he's doing everything and anything he can, and it could have been a really dangerous move, too, had he made one mistake.
He's turned that defense into an attack as he's looking to fight Chris Walker, and just barely has the nose cone on the left rear tire, and unfortunately not able to keep it there. Top 5 sitting right now: Ronnie Osmer, Scott Brinson, Nate Siefker, Chris Walker, and Carl Burke. There's Jeff Hollingsworth going for that 5th spot, and Timothy Bates just looming in the background, Tony.
You got to think that, Hollingsworth may have just lost a little bit on the handling of that car, as he was unable to get the pass done. Falls way back right now. He's going to have to try to get another run on Burke and Walker as they continue to run in lockstep, battling out for 4th.
Hollingsworth falling off just a little bit. There you see, there's your battle for the 4th position. Right now, as, trying to take some away here, and I ended up adding more things to the graphic, as Burke now looking on Walker, still just cannot seem to get the pass.
And that's what we were talking about at the beginning of the race, when we were able to run side by side, 5 deep. But that second lane, these guys have worn enough of the fuel off and enough of the goodie off the tires that second lane is really starting to come into its own here as we're working lap 122 of 170. And Hollingsworth gets a twofer.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Tyler, you saw the run that he got off of turn 4, was able to carry that momentum around Carl Burke, also able to carry it around Chris Walker. And Tyler, Timothy Bates trying to do the same thing, is closed right up, and he's brought Luis Gonzalez-Nunez with him.
Yeah, as Bates is trying to find a way around, too, and Carl Burke trying to see what he can do on making a move. It's just going 2 by 2 further back.
As Carl Burke now backing out of that, he will lose not only the 6th position, but he will lose 7th and fall into 8th here.
Well, he got the apron coming through the 3-4 complex, and that really unsettled that car.
Yeah, and that's very dangerous in these cars to catch that apron. It will throw you around before you even realize what you did wrong. As that's sitting behind him is Chris Simard, who currently occupies the 15th position, the first car not on the lead lap. He has had the pace all night, but unfortunately for him, got caught up in that accident early with Ronnie Osmer, Tony, and has just not been able to catch enough brakes to get back on the lead lap and in contention to show how quick that car really is.
Yeah, unfortunately for Chris, every time that he was almost in the lucky dog position, the leaders have caught lap traffic, put someone else a lap down, and he's just been floundering all night long, hovering between 1 and 2 laps since the onset of, I think it was lap 5.
Something close to that. As we look back up to the front of the field here, as we watch John Fries leave pit road, that is Ronnie Osmer with the biggest lead we have had tonight. As Ronnie Osmer now leads Scott Brinson and Nate Siefker by just under a second. And Tyler, we saw this on the last run. Brinson really good on the short run. It's that long run that he's kind of struggling with.
Yeah, and that's the only downside with Brinson, is Brinson's doing everything he can, and it just looks like now Nate Siefker's going to get around him so easily. Boy, is that could have been worse.
Somewhat easily as Brinson able to hold on to the spot. And we've seen, Tony, over the last couple weeks, I think 3 of the last 4 races, Brinson has been in a great position. He was in the lead at Gateway, got wrecked, managed to cleanly race his way into a 3rd position the very next week at Watkins Glen. and then at Pocono caught up in a late race accident on the Long Pond straightaway. So Brinson trying to find some consistency, and it would do wonders for his confidence and momentum if he can have a good finish here tonight, especially with this race being so close to his heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's running right now, just hanging on to Yeah, I can speak. I can English. I promise, folks. Scott doing everything he can do to hang on right now.
Oh no! There he goes.
Oh, what a save by both, though.
Caution has not come out just yet, but that was Siefker and Brinson. And now the caution does come out here on lap 131 as Scott Brinson hopefully did not damage that car too bad, because remember, he used his fast repair earlier in the race. Now he can get a front wing change on that car, but if his car is towed out or having an issue such as that, he is unfortunately SOL.
Wait, what a turn of events.
See, Tyler, this commentator's curse, you really got to stop that.
Well, that's normal of me. I knew it wasn't going to last long anyways.
So the good news is it's going to put Chris Simard back on the lead lap.
I was just going to mention Chris Simard, with all of his work that he's done in this race, is now going to be back on the lead lap. We have 39 laps to go as the leaders cross the line here. It'll be 38. And once again, as you could imagine, everybody coming down pit road for 4 Dr. Feelgoods and a full tank of fuel. Hollingsworth in his box. Timothy Bates in his. Waiting to see who is going to win this race. Walker already out of his box. There goes Osmer to the lead. Hollingsworth sliding it out of his box. And you would have to assume, Tyler, that was damage repair, or at least a little bit, as Siefker goes all the way down to 6th on that pit stop.
And some of the damage as well. I'm keeping an eye on Scott Brinson. He's still sitting in his pit box, so he probably had a good amount of damage as well from that incident.
He already burned his fast once.
Yep. So that's unfortunate for Scott Brinson, as there we see him now leaving pit lane. So Brinson will rejoin to the back of the queue here. And Tony, as you mentioned, Chris Simard, he'll get a chance to show what that car can really do now as he's back on the lead lap.
Absolutely. He's had pace all night long. The question is, does he have enough time, as we are coming up on 30? We should get the green on 35 laps to go.
I mean, we saw Jeff Hollingsworth get up through the field in about 2 laps, and Simard almost coming together with Scott Brinson there going into pit lane, as Brinson's going to try to get as much damage repaired as he possibly can to try to get as good a finish as he possibly can. We've seen Simard. He has been right up there. He has race-leading pace. The question is he going to be able to find the breaks in the field, Tyler, that Hollingsworth was able to find?
It's going to be very tough. I mean, with these laps winding down, there's going to be a lot less room given.
And that is Ronnie Osmer, the race leader. Currently the 5th car in this line. It's the 84 of O'Brien, Mark Walker, John Fries, and Sam Cooper Bennett sitting in front of him. Those guys will take a waiver round to get themselves.
And those guys had just gone down pit road before the caution came out.
Yes, I remember John Fries did pit. Sam Cooper Bennett did pit before the caution had come out. As Mark Walker, unfortunately, he has not been able to recover either from his incident. He is the first car not on the lead lap, as everyone will stay out once again here as we get closer and closer to the end of this race. About to start lap 135 of 170 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. As there go the wave arounds and there go the lights on the safety car as we are getting set to bring this thing back to green flag racing.
Yeah, and this is going to give Osmer another chance to battle with Hollingsworth. And, you know, Chris Walker has just made a steady climb all night in that the STP and Petty Blue version of the NLR livery that he's been running tonight. And how about Luis Gonzalez Nunez?
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job, moved his way back up through the field after starting up at the front and falling to the back. Nunez started third, remember. He's up to the 5th position now, third car on the inside lane for this restart, as it will be pretty much the class of the field here tonight. Ronnie Osmer and Jeff Hollingsworth leading them down. We will have, what is that, 35 laps to go?
That's the math that I'm coming up with.
Yeah, well, at least I learned enough math to know that, as here goes Osmer, takes the early jump, as we have mentioned before, and Hollingsworth and Walker fighting on this restart, and Walker is going to get the jump on Jeff Hollingsworth, Tyler.
Yeah, as Walker has a great jump, he's able to move up to the outside line 2 by 2 further back behind him, as Hollingsworth is able to get the better run coming out of turns 3 and 4.
Love this straight on shot down the front, down the first bit of the quad oval, as Hollingsworth has that car wound up now. He is fighting Ronnie Osmer in that number 55. And remember, Tony, Osmer hasn't had the cleanest race today. He's been involved in a couple accidents. Just shows how good that car is, that he's up at the front, and Nunez hits the wall out of 4.
Nunez hits the wall and hits, I believe that was Tim Bates?
Siefker is in front of Bates right now. Siefker's more gold, and Bates is more yellow.
Who's got the yellow rims? Because that's who he hit.
Yellow is Bates.
Yeah, he came off the wall and just tagged the side of Bates, as Osmer under heavy attack right now up front from Hollingsworth.
There's Jeff Hollingsworth falling now in line. He's pressured by Chris Walker behind. And it is a little difficult here for some of us, for us to see here tonight, as Hollingsworth goes for the lead going into turn 3. A lot of these guys running different paint schemes to what they normally would run. We're used to seeing Timothy Bates in a purple and green car, seeing him in black and yellow, a little off-putting, as Hollingsworth just cannot seem to get around, Tyler. That outside line staying wound up and able to really push coming off the corner.
Yeah, and it's just really difficult, especially with this run. Fresher tires are going to be king, and running that outside, you'll be able to save a lot more and keep speed and momentum.
3-car breakaway up here at the front. It is Hollingsworth, Ronnie Osmer, and Chris Walker really battling for the lead for the first time tonight. You can see on the pylon there, up 16 positions from where he started. Did not post a qualifying time prior to this event, so starting back in the 19th position, as here comes Siefker, Bates, and Carl Burke leading, trailing at the back end of that train there, back up to this front pack.
Burke really with a head of steam right now as he's working the inside that's Brazington also coming along too, as he was looking to the inside of Burke for a second there, as Siefker just kind of biding his time right now, seeing what's going on, trying to play it safe for the next few laps, as he's already burned his fast repair. and doesn't want to get involved in anything that might happen in front of him, as they were almost 3 wide going into turn number 3.
A lot of crazy racing up here, but it's about to get a little bit crazier. As Tyler, can you see what I could see?
Oh, yeah. I can definitely see it.
And that would be?
Right now, Hollingsworth up on the point, and there's a whole mess.
That's not what I'm talking
Uh-oh.
about. Look who's just joined the back end of this group. That is Chris Simard, who we had talked about being a lap down. And Carl Burnkus take to the grass after Bates hits the wall. Bates is in trouble now, falling backwards. He has front wing damage. Oh my goodness, Wubker. I think Wubker did clip him. Let's see the front end. Oh no, that's not Wubker. That was Nunez, and Nunez is missing the left front of his wing. Well, that turned south for Bates in a hurry now, didn't it, Tony?
Yeah, very much so. As way off base right now, is able to limp that thing back to pit road. Gonzalez Nunez, you got to wonder what the handling of that car has got to feel like right now, as he is completely missing half of his front wing and under heavy attack right now from Wubbs.
And that's not going to make it easy at all to drive, especially here at Charlotte, where downforce is absolutely king. To be missing, now granted it is the inside of the front wing, Tyler, but still not something you want to be dealing with as he falls back to 10th as Wubker gets by.
Get Ronnie Osmer in the wall, and I believe Simard got involved as well.
Ronnie Osmer falling down the pylon, and there is the race leader, Ronnie Osmer, or what was the race leader, nose first into the quad oval wall. And this will
yes,
put it.
Simard did catch us.
This will put an end to Osmer's night. As again, Osmer has already used his fast repair. Let's see if we can see what happened. Just this close racing up front, and Osmer pushes up too high.
And Siefker caught a piece of that one too.
Yeah, and all that work. That's Simard.
Simard hit the incident limit.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
I think he would have been done anyway, because that was his second incident to where he would have taken a fast repair. But my goodness, all the work that Simard did right there to try to fight to get back onto the lead lap, then to get up to the lead, finally in a position that was meaningful. And unfortunately now it's just, it all falls completely by the wayside.
Yeah, that's a rough one, especially when none of what happened was his fault in any of the incidences he was involved in tonight. He was caught up in other people's dumpster fires all night long.
And and going off of that, speaking of being caught up in other people's dumpster fires, Ronnie Osmer, who right now is not on track, otherwise we would go to him, not in pit lane either.
Same thing.
Hit the incident limit?
Yeah.
He's another guy. You see him run up front, and we broadcast several different series, Tyler, that Ronnie Osmer's in. Top Fuel, Paskies. I believe he'll run the iRacing East Super Speedway series every now and again. Just a guy who has incredibly quick cars, and something always seems to happen to him that gets him into the situation that he was in tonight.
Yeah, and knowing Ronnie in person as well, seeing him race ARCA a few years back and everything, he's got a heart of a racer. And when things like that fall out of his hands and just little mistakes happen. He gets upset with himself, and I kind of don't blame him. I still remember a few years ago of his ARCA race at Daytona. Yeah, so it's just, I mean, he's put a lot of heart into it, and there's times that the bad breaks, I feel bad for him.
And tonight was another one of those bad breaks. As after the pit stops, Chris Walker has come out as the race leader. Jeff Hollingsworth in second. Carl Burke running in the third position. Dan Brazington has found his way into the top 5, as well as Scott Dusko, who we were mentioning before. First time back in the Top Fuel Series in quite some time. Trying to put on a very similar performance from what we saw out of Chris Simard last week at Pocono. As there's Scott Dusko in the blue and gray car right there in the middle of your screen. Jeff Wupker, who finished 5th place here in May, followed by Nate Siefker, Mark McFadden, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, and Johnny Antonucci, filling out the top 10 positions, as Mark Walker, Scott Brinson, and John Fries running 11th through 13th, the last cars on the lead lap.
And I would like to point out, too, that as of right this second, Scott Dusko is your biggest mover, starting 14th, currently running in 5th, because he did post a qualifying time.
Okay, you put that qualifier there, and that is an accurate statement. Chris Walker overall is the biggest mover of the race with 18 positions gained. But again, having not posted a qualifying time, that does eliminate him from contention for the prize money that will be given out for tonight's race for biggest mover. What was the breakdown on that now?
That's completely changed since there's been more money added since it was sent to me.
So fair. So there you go.
Let's this way. $100 total purse, and that's $35 that's been added since I was given that information. Well, so they're going to break that up however they need to. But Field worked its way through the 3-4 complex, Frank.
Yes, they are. We're going to be restarting on lap 153. We have 18 laps to go. Here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, Chris Walker hits the loud pedal early, and we are off and running here at Charlotte for this 18-lap shootout. What we hope is going to be an 18-lap shootout.
Well, we're about to find out. As Hollingsworth right now stalking Walker, as Walker had a huge jump on that restart, and just like that, Hollingsworth right on his rear wing as they come out of turn number 4.
Hollingsworth with a nice little move to the inside lane. We mentioned it a couple times tonight. Walker was the bridesmaid here back in May. Would love to win, as here comes Carl Burke to the inside, Tyler.
Yeah, Carl Burke's deciding he better start turning the wick up now, so he's running that low line, trying to follow in Hollingsworth's steps and trying to get up to that point as best he can.
Yep, Hollingsworth was the pole sitter here this evening, back up to the point, as Carl Burke takes it to the inside of Chris Walker. Nate Siefker and Dan Brazington fighting between each other there. That is for the 4th position, as it looks like Siefker will have it. And there is Scott Dusko holding firm in 6th position. And remember, just a couple laps ago, we were watching Luis Gonzalez Nunez riding without a left front wing. He is up in 7th, fighting with Dusko, for now 6th, Tony.
Yeah, he got a new wing put on under that caution, and you can tell he has some pace.
A little bit of lag issues for Luis Nunez there. As Scott Brinson has moved his way into the top 8. currently running in the 8th position right now, as these guys running very, very close to each other. As we look back up front here, as Hollingsworth is being hounded by Walker, Burke, and Siefker, Tyler.
Yeah, and Hollingsworth trying to do everything he can, but I mean, there's Walker right now on the outside line trying to find anything he can do as they're 2x2 heading into coming out of 2.
Hollingsworth ducking to the inside, trying to hold off Carl Burke as the 2 NLR teammates were working the outside there. Siefker goes to the inside.
And Luis Gonzalez Nunez just got more airtime than a skateboard at the X Games.
And he's got a lot of front end damage. Unfortunately for him, it is right at pit entry. And if he can get that car rolling, he won't have to tow it.
Oh my word.
Tyler, you got to stop jinxing people.
Yeah, I just watched the quick replay of that, and oh my word, that was disastrous, and it looked like it might have been some netcode involved too, which is really unfortunate.
We're going to see it right now as, oh yeah, that definitely did look like netcode, as Dusko did not appear to be too close to him. As we'll try to get a little bit of a different look at this incident here. And yeah, no, he did not touch him.
100% pure netcode.
Yes, that was. And we had just made the mention that Luis Nunez was having issues as far as connection issues goes. So there's not much that could have been done there. It's hard to avoid a guy you never touch now, isn't it? As safety car back out, I believe this is, I've lost count, I believe it's 10 here at Charlotte. We have 11 laps to go. And if my math serves me correctly, I believe we're going to have 7 laps to go when we hit the line to take the green. Which means all of this crazy racing that we've seen so far up at the front here is only going to get crazier.
And Brinson has been on the hauler.
I'm surprised at that because it didn't look like Brinson had caught too much.
No, it was after the initial
incident.
Yeah, got into, I believe it was Wubker, and he banged, and Brinson's suspension was knocked out of whack.
This is under caution. What we're watching here is he goes into pit. That was odd. He goes into pit lane, or attempts to go into pit lane. Nope. And Brinson, I'm sure, is going to be very, very frustrated with himself because that had nothing to do with Wubker, as Brinson tried to fake to go into the pits and hit the end of the tire barrel and hit the end of the water barrels.
That's the worst feeling in the world, doing that. Oh man.
And not the way, especially with what was on the line tonight, not the way Brinson wanted to end this race. Was in a top 10 position, and unfortunately trying to do the pit lane fake, just mistimed it and broke the left front suspension.
So meanwhile, up at the front of the field,
Yep.
You kind of got a feel for Carl Burke right now, as he is currently the only member of the top 5
Oh yeah, 5.
who is not a member of No Limit Racing.
Yep, No Limit Racing comprised of Jeff Hollingsworth, Chris Walker, Nate Siefker, and Dan Brazington.
And Jeff Webker also.
Yep, Jeff Webker in there as well, running in the 7th position. So,
Actually, I'm
Go
sorry to jump in here too, but I think isn't Mark Walker also a part of that? And if that's the case, then that's 7 of the
Chris is. Mark's not.
Oh, okay.
So
never
that's 5 of the top 7 drivers are NLR, including everybody on the inside lane right now. So when we go back to green here, we will have 8 laps of racing to go.
And somebody's burning fuel as much as they can going down the backstretch.
Yeah, you can hear that engine revving out. That might be Hollingsworth trying to burn off as much fuel as he possibly can as we get set here for this, what we hope will be the final restart here tonight. Hollingsworth, Burke, the front row. Walker, Siefker, the second row. Brazington, Dusko, the third row. Pace car is off, and we are racing once again here at Charlotte. And a big jump from Jeff Hollingsworth, and Carl Burke is going to get shuffled to the back. It's back to P4, unfortunately, for Carl Burke, as he's going to have to slot in behind Nate Siefker.
And on that restart, he did bang wheels. Chris Walker tried to duck down, and unfortunately Walker was there. So a little bit of wheel banging going on, and that may have killed any hopes of Burke being able to actually win this thing.
The front of this pack has sucked right back up to each other. Look who's at the back of this front group here. That's Mark Walker. Remember, he had the incident at the quad oval, and there goes Hollingsworth.
What the hell?
Caution is out, and boy, oh boy, did Hollingsworth immediately send it back to the pits. And Chris Walker as well. Jeff Wubker involved. Scott Dusko spinning in turn 4.
That might stem back to, remember when Hollingsworth tagged he tagged the wall about 15 laps ago?
Let's try to get a view of this
No,
here.
never mind. Watch it from the heist drone that I've got following Nick Siefker's car down the back straightaway.
And we just saw it from Chris Walker. We're going to go back to this view here again, but we are going to go high above the circuit. There's Chris Walker in that orange and blue car, first car on the outside lane, and boy, did he turn right down on the inside, and unfortunately, a lot of other guys involved in that. And I'm not sure what that could have been, what could have caused that. As there is Chris Walker. That's Mark McFadden in front of him. And again, guys, no green-white checkers here in this series. If we do get back to racing, it might just be for one lap. And if that's the case, may as well hand the trophy to Siefker now.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna go back green. We might get a green and white at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Because we are at 1.5 miles and it's only, I believe, 3 laps of pacing.
So if that's the case, now Nate Siefker won at Spa-Francorchamps. He won at Watkins Glen. And he won last week as well. So Nate Siefker could be on for 3 in a row, 4 of 5. Carl Burke in second, Dan Brazington in third, and look who's sitting in 4th and 5th. John Fries and Johnny Antonucci. Tyler, two guys we have not talked about much, sitting in the top 5.
Yeah, and they were just playing their cards right. Also, too, Sam Cooper Bennett back on the lead lap 2, I believe. From what it's showing on my monitor as well. So hats off to all of those guys. I mean, just running their own race and making it to the end where they need to be at.
And you guys wonder why I call Johnny Antonucci the New Jersey Ninja.
I
agree with you there 100%.
Well, that's typically the nickname you give people from Michigan. Is also looking through the cars that are running. Kevin O'Brien sitting in the 6th position, and Mark McFadden sitting in 7th. And this is a product of these guys being able to keep their noses clean all race long. As you saw Sam Cooper Bennett jump back to the rear end of this group, as he's got Timothy Bates, who is a lap down between him and Mark McFadden. A decent little strategy play, Tony. If this race does go back to green flag racing, Sam's got some tires. He might be able to make his way up a little bit.
Well, I'm currently listening to the entertainment in the in-sim chatter, trying not to laugh. But yeah, this could get what's the phrase I'm looking for? Interesting. As people are saying, hey, let's keep our heads on out here, and somebody said, yeah, it's like the pot and the kettle. And I'll let you draw your own conclusions as to who said what to whom. But yeah, Sam Cooper Bennett back on the lead lap on fresh tires. Good luck, everyone in front of him, because Sam's got something to prove here, and I think he can do it, because I believe everybody else stayed out.
Everybody else did stay out. We will have a quote-unquote green-white checkered finish. We will start the race with 2 laps to go. White flag, checkered flag. So Nate Siefker will have at least some form of a battle in the way of Carl Burke, Dan Brazington, John Fries, and Kevin O'Brien, who currently and Johnny Antonucci, who currently make up the top 5. So as the safety car goes through turn 3, we will have 2 laps to go to decide who will get the majority of this pot that is up for grabs here. Ronnie Osmer getting some of that pot from leading on lap 79. We'll see at the end who wins the race and biggest mover, as there goes Nate Siefker. Brazington got a great jump with him, and we are back racing green-white checkered here at Charlotte.
That goes back to what I was saying about Carl Burke being the sitting duck, is he's not in the NLR team speak. And here comes Antonucci as well.
Antonucci's got a great run as Fries tries to follow him. Carl Burke trying to suck back up to the 2 NLR drivers. White flag is in the air as O'Brien hits the wall coming out of 4. Here comes Carl Burke with a head of steam. He's going to try to take it to the outside. Ducks back in line. Antonucci, though, is going to look. Going down the back, Siefker trying to defend the inside lane. Brazington and Burke right behind him. Going through turns 3 and 4, it is going to be Nate Siefker winning his 3rd race in a row. Nate Siefker, the winner at Charlotte.
Did he win at Pocono?
I believe he did win last week, did he not?
Oh, let me look.
I'm almost positive he won last week. If not, that call was
go look.
If not, that call was incredibly stupid.
3 wins coming into tonight.
Yep, so that would be Spa, Watkins Glen, and Pocono. So, yep, 3 in a row for Nate Siefker.
No, Chris Walker won at Gateway. So Siefker won Spa,
Watkins,
Chris
Glen, and
Walker won
Pocono.
Gateway, and then Watkins Glen Pocono. Yeah, so 3 in a
Yeah.
row.
Yep, that's right. Yep, 3 in a
You are
row.
absolutely right. Yes, sir.
3 in a row
And
for
he,
Nate Siefker. Dan Brazington finishing in second. Carl Burke finishing third. Johnny Antonucci ends up making up one spot on that restart. And the biggest mover of the race, John Fries, finishing in fifth, plus 12. Sam Cooper Bennett finishing plus 12 as well, but he did not set a qualifying time. That eliminates him from splitting that pot with John Fries, as we'll try to get interviews coming in here very, very soon. Nate Siefker, Dan Brazington, Carl Burke, the 3 you'll be hearing from.
User was moved to your channel.
As I believe, Tony, you have our race winner, Nate Siefker.
Nate, definitely a little bit mixed emotions coming into the victory on this one. Not the easiest of victories that you've had in the 3 in a row and the 4 out of the last 5 that you've strung together.
Yeah, it wasn't the easiest. I won't admit.
Shades of Watkins Glen, I dare say.
Yeah, I'd say shades of Watkins Glen, absolutely. This one's a bit sweeter though. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it was a great race
Easy.
overall. I'm being easy. I'm just saying it was a great race overall. On my end, it was a great overall 1-2 for the team, and I'm really proud of the effort with these boys and all the hard work that they've done this weekend overall so far this season.
Well, the announcement just came
Microphone
through
muted.
from the league admins that we will be taking next week off. Disappointment not
Microphone
going to the
activated.
Grand Prix course at Motegi?
No, no disappointment. It'll just give me a week to reset my mind and just come back stronger. So I'll just look at this as a positive. So yeah, I have no issues with that, with taking a week off. I'm looking forward to having the week to reset my mind and just come back stronger and better than ever.
All right, Nate. So that means that, we're taking next week off and not going to Motegi. The next race is going to be Michigan in 2 weeks on September 30th. Your thoughts going to the, looks like Thomas J. Jennings Memorial?
Yeah, we're gonna put on a show for Bates. That Bates race. We're gonna have a good time there. We're gonna run some special liveries for Butch. What Butch painted for Tim. Tim, it's a really big race for Tim, so we're looking forward to it. Basically being on board for that race, and yeah, it's just gonna be a great race overall. I think we're just gonna keep stringing these results together for the team overall, and we're just gonna keep banging out these results like we've been proving that we're able to.
Well, speaking of teammates,
User was moved to your
I
channel.
believe Frank has your teammate Dan Brazington getting ready to join him. Before we let you go, anybody you want to thank, Nate?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for being in the booth. I know tonight's show on the broadcast probably pretty good at times and probably wasn't the greatest at other times. So thank you guys for sticking through, powering through. I know you guys put a lot of I'm in the chats, and I know you guys put a lot of work in your broadcast. Congrats, by the way, on the amount of broadcast views that you had last night in your memorial race. So really great job to you guys on that front.
User joined
And
your
yeah,
channel.
just thank every single member of my team, really, for really, we talked a lot about this week about mental focus. It's kind of silly, but we were talking about mental focus in all of our aspects of life. I think some of us have got stuff going on. So yeah, it's really great to have a great group of guys to be able to talk that stuff with and have no shame. So yeah, got to thank all those guys. Got to thank you for broadcasting. Of course, thanks Scott for putting together this group of guys that I can run with every week. Even though we're taking a week off, it's great to run with these guys week in and week out for sure.
And got to thank your girlfriend for not dumping Gatorade on you tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to live that one down, bud.
Yep.
And Frank, I believe you've got Nate's teammate Dan Brazington with you now.
Actually, I do not. Tyler does, however.
Tyler does.
Yes,
Sorry
but
about
that was Nate Siefker. who has won here the last
User was
two
moved out of your
races
channel.
here at Charlotte, one back in May as well, goes back to back. And Tyler with his teammate Dan Brasington now.
Yep. And Dan, I know you wanted to get first, but still able to pull out an NLR 1-2. How's that feeling for you right now, Dan?
Man, I tell you, this is my best finish in this league, and it feels pretty good. I'd have liked to got the win, but I'll take a second any day.
Yeah, and especially after the big wreck that happened that took out Hollinsworth and a few others. I mean, you were probably thanking your lucky stars there that you were able to avoid it.
Yeah, I had to avoid a couple. And I actually almost caused one myself, but I kept it up against the wall. So I just kept plugging away and trying to get what I could.
Absolutely, and knowing that we're taking a week off and heading over to Michigan, what's your plans on moving forward to Michigan in 2 weeks' time?
I'm just going to put my nose to the grindstone and do a lot of practicing, get the car dialed in the best I can, and just keep moving forward.
Awesome, and great racing again as well. And Dan, do you have anyone you want to do shout outs for?
First off, I'd like to thank my wife. She puts up with me doing this, and I probably do it way more than I need to, but she allows me the luxury of doing it. And I'd like to thank all the NLR guys. They helped me out tremendously with my racecraft and helping me understand these cars because I was an old dirt track guy before I got into these, and they've helped me out a bunch. And I want to thank Scott for putting this on. And I like racing around these group of guys. I like to think that things are going to get better in the end, and we'll just have to keep our noses down and work on that. And thank y'all guys for putting on a broadcast every week, man. My father-in-law checks in. Alan, if you're still watching, hey buddy, and he loves watching it every week, and y'all put on a hell of a show, and I just want to say I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, great race again, Dan. Dan finishing in second after starting in the 10th place. So awesome finish for you again, Dan. And Frank, taking it back up to you.
All right, that was Dan Brasington, your second place finisher tonight. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to talk to our third place finisher, Carl Burke, who first and third back from May were Nate Siefker and Carl Burke, and they both get those positions once again here in September. As guys, now I know, Tony, you were here for the start. Tyler, you came in a little late. But, Tony, a great race with a lot of action at all times up at the front. We had a couple of big incidences, but still, overall, a very, very solid race here tonight.
I got to commend everybody for being able to make those on-fly adjustments all race long, and it's becoming the usual suspects, week in and week out. The guys that are able to actually finish the races, it's turning into, we're seeing a lot of familiar faces, and tough breaks for Hollingsworth, Brinson, Samard, Osmer. Crumrye is the heartbreak of the night. I'll be honest with you. Started fourth, actually, but had that fueling rig issue, I believe, under the second caution, and had to put it on the hauler early. So, but yeah, all in all, had a couple real good green flag runs, and I was impressed with what I saw. A lot of back and forth, a lot of give and take, and then the patience started to drop dead.
And Tyler, your final thoughts on the race here this evening?
Yeah. I mean, just even with some of the racing I was able to see, it was really unfortunate for Crumrye, but boy, it was, even the second half was just very interesting seeing what all has happened, and then late race cautions happening. It was a wild mess at the end, but these guys were able to pull it through, have some really great battles throughout the entire field, and still very impressive race overall.
All right,
and real quick, go ahead. I was going to say, how about our good friend that did put a top 10 finish in tonight?
Yes, Sam, certainly.
I had to bloody work for it, though. Jesus.
All right, so with that, we will go to the race results, and there they are, up to 18th at least. Nate Siefker taking the win here tonight and taking the lump sum of a major portion of the cash prize that is being given out here tonight, just the same way he did last week for the money race at Pocono. Dan Brazington finishing in second, Carl Burke finishing third, Johnny Antonucci, John Fries, who was our biggest mover of the night, Kevin O'Brien, Mark McFadden, Sam Cooper Bennett, Chris Walker, and Scott Dusko finishing out the top 10. Tony.
Tim Bates coming home in 11th. Mark Walker unable to really rebound after that early incident, coming home in 12th. Jeff Wobker in 13th. Jeff Hollingsworth unfortunately got hit with the Dairy Queen Award tonight due to incidents points in 14th. Scott Brinson in 15th. Luis Gonzalez Nunez in 16th. Ronnie Osmer, again, another Dairy Queen Award for incident points in 17th. Chris Samard, the first one to get hit with that award, in 18th. John Bowling in 19th. And Paul Crumry, of course, we talked about having that fueling rig issue under the second caution, coming home in 20th.
And that will do it. The tonight's race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the
Kristina Behringer.
this Kristina Behringer Memorial Open at Charlotte has come to a close. And with the week off next week, no longer running the race at Twin Ring Motegi, we will be back in 2 weeks' time at the Legacy Michigan circuit, hopefully with fresh minds, a renewed vigor, and a wonderful, wonderful race. So for Tony Trapasso and Tyler Vickery, I'm Frank Marchese. We will see you all on tomorrow night with Tony for the Stars Figure 8 League, on Friday night with myself and Sam Cooper Bennett for the iRacing East Super Speedway Series, and then with myself and Sam on Saturday afternoon for the season finale.
We're off that week, next week.
Oh, sorry. So next Saturday for the E-Formula Series, the season finale at Spa-Francorchamps, and then on Saturday night with Tony in the booth for NASCOM. So from Charlotte Motor Speedway, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you all tomorrow night right here on ESPN.